Ich freue mich sehr, heute hier zu sein. Herzlichen Dank für die Einladung zu dieser großartigen Konferenz. Mein Name ist Gerli und heute möchte ich Ihnen zeigen, wie sich die Advanced Practice Nursing in Estland entwickelt hat und wo wir heute stehen. Dankeschön. I knew it that I wanted to do that before I knew it what I'm gonna say. But yeah, as was said, that I wear many hats. And here is a quick resume, what I'm doing and have been done several years. And now really I own a company. We employ 16 nurses who are providing care for approximately 6,000 children. And the main focus right now is school nursing. Nurses in schools are totally autonomous, so there are no doctors and they make all the decisions themselves. But we have provided home nursing, like a community nursing in your perspective, and we will have that again soon. So, and as I was saying, in the schools, we are solo players, but we interact and cooperate with several different specialists, including GPs, of course, family nurses, and other specialists. So although our nurses are independent, they still need cooperate. So that's the one thing that have been here said several times already. But before I start about the APN, and I use APN, Advanced Practice Nurse sentence, because we don't divide APNs different corners. We just have APNs. But Estonia is a small country. We are part of north of Europe. Population is 1.4. It's a very small, considering that I'm in Germany now. We have several islands, lots of forest, and our capital is Tallinn. I hope some of you have been visiting us, but go further away from Tallinn as well, please, because the whole country is very, very beautiful. 94% of the population is using internet. That means that elderly people do use it as well. My 88-year-old grandmother is using internet, although there are several elderly people who don't like to use computers. So Steph was saying that we need to consider them as well. We do, or we try to do in Estonian that. So me as an employer and need to declare my taxes every single year. We do it in electronical way. Identification takes us 1 minute, and the other minute I do my declaration, because everything is online. My incomes and outcomes, everything. So, and I love the system that we vote online. We don't go to the offices and make some crosses. We just take out our computers and vote. And hopefully this spring, next year, we can do that over our mobile phones as well. So let's see. But we like our genome, and we give it out very freely. So more than 200,000 people have given for the science the genome. I'm one of them. So it's a very big opportunity that if I get some heart disease or some other disease, I can get personalized medicine. And we are making very huge steps on that direction in Estonia as well. We have everything digital. Every patient has a patient portal, and the patients can open up the information there and close up the information there. When I'm a mother and I have children under 18 years, I can look what the patient portal have about my children. And when, for example, my husband doesn't have the access without I'm allowing him to access my patient portal. And Estonians love that. And never mind what kind of service, healthcare service you're receiving, you go home, at least 1 week later, you have the data on your cell phone. We have even an app that shows us how many real estate we have, cars we have, and what kind of education we have. And I can even apply to get married, for example, there. So, and we, of course, have everything digital in healthcare as well. As you see, 99% prescriptions are digital, health certificate and all other things are digital. If you need an ambulance, the ambulance will come. The leading position is a nurse or APN nurse, and she will have a tablet and she will see everything there is to see about you. So no diagnosis is missed, no allergy is missed, hopefully. So it's a very good way to really provide a good care. So before we had the pandemic, then we didn't have remote appointments. And maybe the e-consultation was not so popular. But when we had the pandemic, we got it all. Before 10 years, we have talked about it. So sometimes pandemic can be good for us. Sorry for saying that. But yeah, that really helped us get through some ideas that we were wondering about last 10 years or so. But now about the APNs. Nurses in Estonia get their nurses' education only in bachelor level. Starting in 1996, if you want to become a nurse, you have to graduate high school, and then you could apply for the position of becoming a student. That's a general knowledge. You can work anywhere, actually anywhere. No areas of healthcare you can't work. You are starting like a rookie, of course, but there are no obstacles on your way to be a real specialist. And APNs, another hand, they have little restrictions, but the curriculum is lasting 1.5 years. That's the master level education. And if you put 3.5 years and 1.5 years together, it's a minimum amount of studies you have to get a master degree. And like already 23 years, we only have 4 specializations. We don't have any other. And that's because Estonia is a small country. We have under 10,000 nurses. So if we are specializing for 20 different specialties, we can't rotate. And we are locking ourselves totally. So 2003, there were some committee that said that only 4 specialties. Mental health nursing and public health nursing is something that in the community level are the most valuable in Estonia as well. And I will talk about that in a minute. But never mind, are you nurse or APN, you have to register yourself in the national register. Without it, you can't go and work. No nursing, no advanced practice nursing. And if you, for example, are employer and you want to hire somebody, you can go to the register. It's a publicly viewed register, and everyone can see what is your encode, for example, and where have you worked. So that's a very good system. A little bit statistics as well. I said that nurses are under, we are less than 10,000 working every day, but in the register, as you see, it's almost 17,000. I'm one of them because I'm not working as a nurse. I'm a quality manager and do every other thing to develop nursing, but statistically, I'm not the working nurse. Most of them, 17%, are working in the public sector, 30% in the private sector. And one interesting statistics, I believe, is that only 1.0% nurses coming from abroad. All the others are educated in Estonia. And there are two reasons for that. The biggest one is that the Estonian language is very hard, and to get and provide a service, you need to know the language at first. And the education is not so similar and in every other countries, so it's not very easy to come in. But it's very easy to go out. Oops. But yeah, it was mentioned here that the nurses are getting older. That's the same story in Estonia as well, and we are lacking around 4,000 nurses. So it's a huge amount. And a little bit statistics about the APN as well. According to the last week or so, or 2 weeks ago, we had a little more than 1,000 APNs. And you can see the statistics, how many different specialities we're having. As I was saying, nurses and APNs can work wherever you want them to work. It needs to be a position, and somebody should hire you, and you can choose as a nurse and APN where to work, because there are so many choices. And of course, some nurses are gone to the ministry, health insurance fund, etc. They are lecturers and etc. We divide nurses and APNs by the rights and responsibilities. We don't talk specifically what the nurses do and what does the APNs do more in the everyday work. It comes down to the rights and responsibility. Every nurse can open and close sick leaves if the nurse has an appointment, ambulatory appointments, and the nurses can prescribe aids, different types of aids. But APNs have the right to order necessary, more widely, list of different blood tests and X-rays and etc. They can refer patients to the other specialties. They can, for example, refer to the doctors, physiotherapists, APNs, and maybe just nurses as well, and of course doctors. APNs can conduct e-consultations, nurses can't. And that's the educational reasons mainly. If Steph was talking about the independent prescription, we don't have that. That's in the future we're hoping to have. But now we can prolong the prescription that is already there and written by the doctors. And the most and the biggest thing that is dividing nursing and APN are the coordination. For example, in primary healthcare centers, there are always one GP and two nurses. One can be APN, or it doesn't have to be, but sometimes or more often there are. Then the coordination stays in that center. And if you need a home nurse, community nurse, or some other specialist, the center does the work of coordination. Usually it's APN. In the centers, we have mental health nurses. They are APN level educated nurses. And to provide mental health services, you have to be APN in that specialty. That's the only restriction we have. But if you are a mental health nurse and you want to provide the community nursing services, here you go. No restrictions there. And the mental health nurses can provide some therapies that no other APNs can provide, and they get money for that as well. And in ambulance, usually the brigade leaders are APNs, and if you are in Tallinn and you have an accident and you are going to the emergency care, triage is made by the APNs usually as well. I put a very heavy slide here, sorry for that, but no matter are you nurse or APN, the left side is something that we all do. We are assessing, monitoring, putting down the nursing diagnosis or problems. We will figure it out, and then we put purposes and outcomes and planning and implementing and all that. But in family nursing, in those centers, in the teams, they are dividing the tasks. In home nursing, yes, you get the referral to provide the service, but the nurses are there independent to make new choices concerning the patient health status. And in school, I was saying that the nurses are, of course, independent. And we are really hoping that in the future, the primary sector's APNs have more rights than they have it now. One example, this is my family center where I worked 11 years, and it's quite fancy. I had more slides with the inside as well, but I don't have the time, only 38 seconds left. And every GP has at least two nurses, home nurse, midwife, mental health nurse, starting in 1.5 years ago, and etc. And one GP has in her list, usually they are hers, approximately 2,000 patients. So 3 people are responsible for 2,000 people. And future challenges, as I was saying, we don't have independent prescription for the APNs. We would like to get there, and next year, I know that the Estonian Nurses Union will make the proposal, and hopefully we have a better willingness or political will to do so. Right to prescribe medical devices, that's ongoing right now, and we hope that next year the right is there for APN to use. And of course, in primary healthcare, for example, when I was a family nurse, I prolonged the medicine prescriptions, I did the certificates, I did everything, but I couldn't sign it. So we are hoping that someday we can legally do all those things that the doctors usually think that we are capable. So let's hope for the better future. And just a quick remark, we started the last path of the development 2017. We upgraded the curriculum of APNs. We did the lobby work very heavily. We connected with the hospitals and primary sectors, and we did 2 pilot projects to achieve APN fully in our healthcare system in 2024. So it's doable, but you have to be very strategic. Thank you.